I'm Rich.
I'm Aaron.
And I'm Othello. And, of course, Jelly's still on maternity leave, but together, we are Fandom United. And I can't even say it.
Been too long.
It's been too long.
Yeah.
We've been on a little break. I can say United. It's not that big of a word. So anyway, we've been on a break for a couple weeks and came back, and of course, July 4th weekend, Stranger Things 3 came out. But before we talk about that, I want to say a quick RIP for Rip Torn. He just passed away at 88. So
That's a nice long life, though.
yeah, I'm such a jerk. The first thing I thought was Zed's dead, and so
My
Favorite
first-
movie?
Dodgeball.
Beastmaster.
Yeah, I was looking at his IMDb today.
He was
and
in
I
Beastmaster?
Yes,
He was
in
like
Beastmaster.
the guy who was the false god, or the priest that was doing all the sacrifices.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of liked him in Hercules, where he played Zeus.
Wow.
He was the voice of Zeus in Hercules for Disney. So yeah, and of course, Men in Black when it was good, but we're not even going to talk about Men in Black International, which is not, because nobody else is. So anyway, Stranger Things 3. Which one of you fine gentlemen would like to start?
I'll start. Best one of the series.
Yes, I agree.
Top notch. I loved the way that they put it all together. So you're still convinced that Steve Harrington can't be...
Yes. Did you see him in the shorts?
No.
Did you know how much? I don't.
And I love how they kept pointing to the fact that he can't fight. He's gotten his butt kicked every season.
That was his running
Yeah,
gag.
spoilers, by the way.
Oh God, huge spoilers! But I'm assuming before we even start the episode, Aaron's going to put a giant banner or something that says
Spoiler.
spoilers.
Because
We're going to talk about Stranger Things 3, and we're going to talk about Far From Home, not Endgame. And we're going to have a ton of spoilers. So, spoilers. If you haven't watched it, catch us next week after you go see the movies and watch the TV show. Go.
All right, so first, favorite scene.
Wow, that's rough. I enjoyed. Seriously, I like the whole thing. I can't dial it down to a scene that I liked more than any.
I don't know if I had.
That's weird for me, because normally I'll have one that's just like a...
Really sticks out to you?
Yeah.
The never-ending story scene was really funny to me. That one was really...
I like that whole arc about is his girlfriend real
Is his
or not. It's
girlfriend
like,
real or not? Yeah.
sounds kind of made up.
Yeah.
If she's
Then-
real.
And then when he calls her at the end, the world is ending and we're in mortal danger.
Sing the song.
I need you to sing me our song before I help you. I was like, wow, that's... Yeah, all day.
There was a lot of good scenes. I will give you that.
There were a ton of good scenes.
My favorite was the never-ending story, but my second favorite was... Okay, so they're trying to save Steve and his, not girlfriend.
Robin.
Robin.
The girl that he develops a crush on. But...
Yeah, and they're trying to turn off the fan,
Yeah.
and he's like convincing
convincing
that
Erica
she's a
that she's a
nerd.
nerd. Yes. Yeah. Like, did
Episode
you
of My
just
Little
do all
Pony.
Did you do all that math in your head?
Yeah.
That was a simple equation.
Like, that was not a simple equation. She was rattling off those numbers, and I'm like... I had to, like, okay, hold on, let me get a calculator. 10, then she...
That's
and
Queen
that
Nerd right there, though, where
Yeah.
she's like picking on
Yeah.
all the peasants. Like, oh, you're so far beneath me that I don't even care.
You're the peasant nerds.
You know what
yeah.
I like capitalism.
So yeah, let's talk about Steve Harrington real quick. Is Batman Beyond, because you brought this up last show, and I tell you what, there aren't enough steroids in every bodybuilding competition in Russia and America.
Oh, come on.
To get that boy buffed up.
They made Tobey Maguire buff, and he was a scrawny little guy.
Did you see that dude?
Yeah.
He's a Pez dispenser. I mean, great actor. Hey, Steve Harrington's awesome. Steve the Hair Harrington, we love you.
Loved it when they were on LSD too, by the
But
way.
come on, are you serious? I mean, no.
All
Boy's
right.
not bigger
I
than my
like
forearm,
watching
man.
him though. I think I could see him through as that character though. We're talking about
Yeah,
Batman
but it
Beyond,
would
Right.
take a lot. It would take a lot.
yeah.
I mean, first of all, the hair. I mean, you can't. I mean, come on. You
See, but you can't get past that. Like, he can...
He's not gonna have 80s
He's not
hair
gonna
in
have
everything
80s
that he's
hair and
ever gonna
everything.
be in.
Exactly.
Yeah, but he kind of has to now. I mean, he's got his thing going.
You're telling me he's pigeonholed to Steve
He's
Harrington? from now on?
pigeonholed. No, just as the hair.
Oh, I see.
Just as the hair. Just like Billy. I don't know who the actor is. I wish I knew the actor's name, but he turned out to be a great kind of villain for this season.
You know,
And he got
having him
body
be a
snatched.
really, really good guy from Power Rangers, just like that. He was
Wait.
the kid from
Yeah.
Power
Yeah,
Rangers.
he was the Red
new-
Ranger.
Oh, wait. Really?
Yeah.
Wait.
Take
Billy.
the crappy mustache off and the long
Oh
hair.
my
yeah.
gosh, I have to look that up now. That was the Red Ranger from the
Red
recent
Ranger.
Power.
You slap
Yeah.
me? Yeah,
Are
weird.
you serious?
That's him.
Oh, that's crazy. Okay, yeah. Wow, he plays a jerk really well. That's a good actor.
He went from
Good
a
on
very
you.
likable character to a jerk.
Yeah.
See, and that made his, like, I didn't feel hurt about his death because he was a dick
Yeah.
in season 2 and season 3.
When
see-
I thought he got smoked like that quick into the first episode, I'm like, oh wow. But they did
then-
not kill him that quick.
Yeah,
And then
it's
I'm
the
like,
whole
okay,
body
good.
snatcher thing. And him being the one that got body snatched was like, yeah, he's going to be the bad guy. Kind of
Yeah.
like he's going to be the one. He's going to be where we save money on effects and have him menace the kids, as opposed to doing a Demigorgon and all that
Yeah.
other stuff that costs a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And that made sense. I liked it because he's already a jerk anyway and a creepy dude, and then have him be more so that character because now he is just the embodiment of all things evil. That's perfect. So I really dug that.
His characterization as after he is body snatched, you know, I like that they gave him depth too of like, hey, there's really a good kid that was in there that was just screwed up, but him being bad, I would almost compare that to Tenet from Jessica Jones.
Yes.
You know, just
yes.
such a good portrayal of a bad guy, and I really enjoyed it for that. So.
I
Didn't
agree.
you feel like a Martha kind of like I felt this feels very much like Justice League Martha when she was like trying to convince him, talking about I saw your mom on the beach and she was beautiful. And
No.
It wasn't my favorite scene, but
I get
it wasn't
where
as
she was-
cringeworthy as Martha. To
Exactly.
me, but I mean, yeah, it did feel a little bit. I mean,
it felt forced to me.
I could see that. I could go either way on it, but
It didn't necessarily
bother
feel as
me.
forced to me because she was trying to appeal to what she thought was his humanity that was still there, which it did end up working, right?
Right.
Because he defended her against the giant, mind flayer monster. But my thing was that it didn't really seem like a Martha moment, where it was just kind of like, save Martha! Huh? Martha? Who? Why do you know Martha? My mom's name is Martha.
why'd you say that name?
Yeah, it wasn't. It's nowhere near that bad. Nowhere near that bad. So it didn't necessarily bother me. I understood what they were trying to say visually with Elle going back to that time period where he was happy, and that was like his last happy memory, and then where the mind flayer kind of had rested himself or took root in the beginnings of his unhappy memories with just his dad. And I get that. I get that. I see where they were trying to go there visually, and so she was taking him back to his last happy moment, genuinely happy moment as a small child, and that's kind of what broke the mind flayer's hold on him long enough for them to escape, her to recover, all that, for the kids to escape and all of that. So I like that.
Yeah, what he said. Sorry.
I also like that they.
I agree with that though.
I also like that every season they expand the crew.
They do.
They
Yeah.
expand the group because I was kind of like shaky about Max when she first showed up last season, but now she's like one of my favorite characters. She continues to be one of my favorite characters this season, and then they add more. I love Robin. Love Robin.
Robin was a good addition.
Robin
I like
was one of the
Robin
best
was
additions.
a great addition and a character who is not defined by their gender, race, or sexuality, and just make it a good character.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't care when she revealed. There's a. Oh, I don't
It
need to say
didn't feel
spoilers.
forced.
When she revealed to Steve, pours his heart out there on the and then the LSD or the drugs or whatever, the truth serum, and Steve reveals, you know what? You're the girl. You get me, I get you. I dig it. I dig you. You're the one. And she's like, oh well,
You weren't listening.
you weren't listening. I was obsessed with you not because I was in love with you, but because the girl I liked was in love with you.
Yeah.
And she never looked at me. She was always looking at you.
And
Steve.
they put it like it was never. She's a lesbian.
Yeah.
Like that wasn't
That
her
wasn't
character.
her superpower. Right.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh, okay, that's who she is. And then they moved on. And it was just kind of like, okay.
That's how you should treat it.
And then Steve was like, all right, cool. Well,
If you were trying to teach equality, that is
was
the way
it.
that you teach equality.
Yeah.
Like,
And
oh,
Steve-
okay, you're a lesbian.
Steve was
All
like,
right,
okay, cool. We're best buds now. All right, fine.
Yeah, not.
I love that family video at the
Family
end.
video at the
That's
end.
awesome. Hey, he's gonna bring a lot of chicks in here. You want him to work here?
How does that benefit you, Robin? Don't worry about it. Just it's gonna benefit you. So yeah, great season.
All right, his choice in movies is a little pedestrian.
Yeah. But I will say the final scene actually made me drop 3.5 whole tears. That's a lot for me. I didn't know I could still do that.
I didn't know that you weren't dead inside. I am.
That-
So I thought you were there with me, but
With the
for
big
you.
death being, Hopper's seemingly death. Now, of course, we didn't see a body.
Right.
We didn't see him get disintegrated like we saw the scientists. It's assumed.
Yeah, they did that on purpose, though.
They did to get idiots like us talking about it.
and it works.
And it works. And to see that, but then that letter, and you think like that's the last time she's going to actually quote unquote hear from her dad, her adopted dad. His handwriting, it's in his handwriting, it's his heart to her. And it was just like, what is this I'm feeling? I didn't know what it was. I thought it was allergies, and I realized it was emotion. And like my wife even saw it. Like I have proof. Like I actually did cry. My wife like, wow, you do that? And I'm like, I guess apparently I did.
What is this feeling?
Yeah, like there's a leak in the roof. There's water on my face.
Honey, I think I'm getting sick.
Yes, I think I'm getting sick. It must be Ebola. It's the liquid death because there is water coming out of my eyes. I didn't understand what was going on. So yeah, great season. If you haven't watched it by now, we've spoiled it. You watched it too late, sucker. Told you. Spoilers.
Real quick though, not necessarily a favorite scene, but there were elements that I loved in the 80s. And every season that they do it, they pick a new theme that, hey, we're focusing on this. The first episode of the first season, looking at it, it's like, wow, they set this up. It's got the same feels like E.T., the beginning of that movie.
Yes.
I love that it immediately gives you, hey, you're in the 80s. If you grew up in the 80s, you know what your environment is for this. And for this one, that they had it such a big thing where the Russians were the bad guys. And
Yeah.
it's like, that was such a huge thing in America that,
Yeah.
kids were like, oh, they're the evil Red Empire, that they built on that. Because I don't think about that kind of thing as an adult anymore. And like, wow, I remember
Because
being
the
9-year-old
Soviet
me
Union
being
is
like,
dead,
oh yeah, are the Russians ever going to invade? And then, definitely it's
Red
Red
Dawn.
Dawn. It was totally Red Dawn.
Red Dawn.
But I'm good with them doing that because
I love
it's like it's an easy way for them to jump in and already have all that built-in emotion.
Have a built-in nostalgia to it. Yeah.
Yes. And that's the thing that I love about how they write those seasons, because they don't waste time on anything. They're just like, hey, we're doing this. Visually, we're doing this because it's going to get you to the place that we need. We don't have to worry developing that because you lived it.
Yeah.
And if you didn't live it, you'll catch on.
Right.
Yeah.
And I thought that it was...
And the whole mall thing,
Great.
like when mall culture
Awesome.
started and all of that, and I was like, I remember the mall being like that, and that was like the place, and it was everything that the '80s was as far as mall culture, the Red Menace, with like you said, Red Dawn. It was all of that, and I dug it so deep. I dug it. So congratulations to Netflix and the Duffy Brothers. You did it again. I do think season 4 is going to be the last season though. I just don't.
And I'm
see,
okay with stuff
I
like
don't
that
know.
ending because you can't
because they
get too
keep
far.
and they're getting older,
Yeah.
and you can see where there's the change now in the relationships and the dynamic. I mean, you have a whole family, and part of the cast leave Hawkins at the end
Yeah.
of the season, and people grow apart, people move, and that's a part of that growing up.
I say
think you have a
5
hard time.
seasons.
I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised if they do 5. I think 4 will be the last one, but I hope so.
I can
agree.
agree that too,
Oh,
though.
go ahead.
Because, like, as I've said before, Stranger Things is X-Files meets the Goonies. So once they get past, like, 16, 17, it's
Which
not the
is
Goonies
where they are
anymore.
They're aging out. This is kind of
Yeah.
where they are now. So
Which is one of my gripes about pretty much every show that's on Disney, Nickelodeon, all those. I hate my kids watching those. And I watched them, when I was a kid, where it was always stories about kids saving the world. Mom and dad are dumb. The adults don't have a clue. And it's up to the kids to save the world. That kind of crap's been billed towards kids. I hate my kids watching that kind of stuff. But that's what I grew up on. And, and it does make you think, hey, I'm smarter than my parents. That's why at adolescence, I think there's part of that rebellion that helps feed that. Where you're like, yeah, mom and dad don't have a clue what's going on. They couldn't do this without me.
That's true.
And so
yeah,
there's that part of me that I saw. I'm like, okay, I don't like my kids watching this stuff, but I love it because 10-year-old me was like totally into this, and this is my decade. This was a show that was me. It just showed up 40 years too late, or 30 years too late.
Yeah.
But I loved it anyway. I mean, I thought that it was great. So.
Another scene that I really loved was "Come in, Bald Eagle."
Yes, yes.
I
That
hate
was
children.
Awesome. That was so good. And then the big Russian assassin guy who was pretty much Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That's
the
what I
Terminator.
felt the whole
He
time,
was a Terminator, and it was so funny.
Yeah.
I expected him when they were the big fight scene between him and Hop in the machine room. When he hit his head on the machine, I swear I expected to see part of a T-1000 skull or something, or T-800 skull in there, like a glowing red eye.
I yelled when they were in the haunted house area, and he shot him like 5 times in the chest. Like, why didn't you shoot him in the head?
Yes.
He obviously is going to have a bulletproof vest on.
And he gets up, he's like, and I'm like, oh, it's a Terminator. That's the first thing I thought.
And I like Smirnoff too. Smirnoff was
Was a
Alexei
good
was great.
character.
He was a great character. A lot of good characters. It was a great season once again. So kudos to Netflix and the Duffy Brothers. Last word on that? Are we good there?
I'm good.
Because we still
I
have.
said at the beginning, best season they've made.
It is.
Yeah.
You are correct. I think that is the best season, and I thought last season was the best season. So I don't know how they're going to top it on the 4th season. But hey, I can't wait to see them try. Next thing we want to talk about is Spider-Man: Far From Home. Just came out recently, and it's amazing. It's amazing.
Amazing Spider-Man.
This is one of the few times where the Rotten Tomatoes critic and audience score matches up. It's a great movie, and it builds on Homecoming and the end of Endgame so well, but yet also kind of gives you a taste with that final credit scene, the taste of what the Marvel Universe is going to be going forward. Yeah. So, Rich, I'll start with you. What did you think about Far From Home?
I loved it. That was the final film in Phase 3. And that's what they said was the capstone. And I felt that Endgame wrapped it up so well. I didn't know that it was necessary to have that put more of a cap on it.
It was an epilogue.
But I loved what they did. I thought that it was a great way to kind of give. Peter was so. I mean, Tony was kind of like a dad to Peter. And so I liked what they did with that. The character development through it was so good. I liked the whole thing with Happy and Aunt May. I thought that was a fun little
summer fling
side story going on there. But yeah, I liked it. It was great. I know a lot of people were confused by Mysterio, being a good guy, and I'm like,
there's nothing.
Okay, in the comics, he
really
started
think
as
he's
a
going to
good
be
guy.
a good guy?
He's never going to be a
in
good
the
guy.
first
He's Mysterio.
in the Mysterio in the comics, he tricked everybody that he was a hero. So it was not an exact mirror, but it was a mirror of
watching the movie. The whole thing. Every time Mysterio was on screen, I thought, I'm Syndrome, and I'm your nemesis.
Exactly.
It was just like, I've seen The Incredibles. I know what you're doing. You're not fooling me.
You bring a lot of things back to The Incredibles. You
Because
really
The
dig that movie.
Incredibles is the greatest comic book movie of all time. Period. Hands down. The Incredibles. Greatest comic book movie ever. Just all they need to do is put them in blue suits and film that for the Fantastic Four. Done.
Yep.
okay.
Done.
So the bar
All you need to
scene
do.
where they did the reveal with
Yes.
Mysterio, and they started having like everything kind of just started dissolving, and like people were still there, like, okay, hey, what's? I was not prepared for that scene.
Yeah,
I knew there was
that.
going to be something where it's like, okay, we're gonna see something turn. I knew he wasn't from an alternate Earth. I never bought that even from the trailer, but I was not prepared for what they did, and I really
slick.
dug that it caught me that off guard. I'm like, this is so well done. Keep entertaining me this way.
And I liked how they were all from Iron Man movies,
Yes.
Yeah.
right? You know, so
I didn't even remember the bald dude till they did the
You know who that is, right?
throwback.
Yeah.
It's Ralphie from Christmas Story.
Shut up! That is not Ralphie.
The one that Tony Stark built it in a cave. The scientist that was getting yelled at, that's Ralphie from... I knew that from when that movie came out. And you can see it when he's in this movie. It's the same actor that was in the other movie. Same actor that was in Christmas Story.
No. That's not Peter Billingsley.
Yes, it is.
No.
100%.
He'll shave half of his beard.
No, I won't. No, I won't. No.
I mean,
that's
I'm
only
pretty
for,
sure that it's him.
It's only
Might
for
be
New
right.
Mutants. You're not getting that twice. No. That's a one-time thing. I'm positive New Mutants isn't coming to theaters. I'm telling you that. No. Stop it.
We'll put up the link to the IMDb for Peter Billingsley so that everyone...
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know what I'm talking
All
about.
right.
Okay.
That's a total shock to me.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Yeah, when you see his eyes, you'll be like, "Holy crap! Yeah, that's him. You got old. You got old, Peter."
But I do like
you
the
are.
fact that they touched on that and they showed that scene. And here we have Peter dealing with his feelings and still mourning Tony Stark, mourning the world is mourning Iron Man. Like when they were in school, all the pictures behind them were of Iron Man and Tony Stark. Every single one.
All the
murals, but all the pictures of the kids that colored, which is kind of weird that kids are still coloring pictures in high school. But whatever.
We'll forget about that.
Yeah, whatever. But, so that was him still dealing with that and processing that. Mm-hmm. And then here's these other people that were kind of, spit on by Tony or whatever, or for some reason had it in for Tony. And, basically had to wait until he died in order to, to kind of exact their revenge. He's trying to show me IMDb right now. See, he's listed as a producer on Iron Man. That's not him.
It's him.
It's not him. Then where is Far From Home? He hates to be wrong, and he's wrong.
Keep talking.
Okay. Anyway,
It'll give me time to.
Even if he doesn't find it, he'll Photoshop it on his phone or something. Like, dude, it's him. It's him. It's not him. It's not him.
I've heard from a bunch of people that it was. So.
What I really liked about Mysterio in Far From Home is something that the Marvel movies has always kind of gotten wrong, in my opinion, is fleshing out villains to make them feel like villains. Instead of just the bad guy that we have to fight because this is a superhero movie, they fleshed him out where, one, they made him kind of likable till he became total...
You kind of understood where he was coming from.
Yeah.
When Tony Stark takes his life work
and calls it barf.
It's just like, oh, dang.
And he was likable as kind of a mentor to Peter Parker. Mm-hmm. So they did a really good job of fleshing him out, and that's something they didn't do with a lot of villains in Marvel movies, except for Thanos, in my opinion. So that was probably one of the best things that I liked about it. But also... I don't think anybody really bought, unless they didn't know the comics, that Mysterio was a good guy.
No, I think the reveal surprised my wife because she doesn't know the Spider-Man comics as well as I do, because I'm the one that's sitting here talking to you now, or standing here talking to you now, and she's gonna watch later. Right. So that for your layman, your normie that's going to watch the movie, yeah, that might be a big reveal. But anybody that's read Spider-Man, watched the cartoons, everybody knows Mysterio's a bad guy.
Right.
What I like about the Marvel movies specifically, but the Marvel Spider-Man movies definitely is, I would say Marvel movies in general, Spider-Man in particular, is the way they treat the minor Spider-Man villains. They do them up big. Like the fact that the Vulture was Homecoming's big bad guy and was amazing. Amazing.
I never thought they'd pull off the Vulture.
Never. And then when they said Jake Gyllenhaal, he's going to be Mysterio, I'm like, oh boy. Let's see
I
how
actually
this
like
goes.
that casting. I thought I could see him pulling it off.
They really pulled it off, and the way they pulled it off, because it's drones and the holographic technology, and I mean, perfect.
It
the
tied
way
in
they
really
pulled
well.
off Mysterio. So it's just kind of like, you can look at some of these obscure Spider-Man villains, you know, how they even did Hydro Man. Like, it was an illusion, but they still did it.
Yeah.
You know, they could do Sandman. They could do whatever they want to do with Spider-Man's, you know, quote-unquote Sinister Six or his Rogues Gallery, and have it be really good.
Yep.
But
He's only got one movie left.
that's what I was just getting ready to say. He's only got one movie left on that contract. The third solo film. He's done, it was 3 group movies and 3 solo films. He's done the 3 group movies. That was Civil War, Endgame, or Civil War, Infinity War, and then Endgame. And he's done the 2 solo movies. So he's got 1 movie left.
And they did the best way of upping the stakes at the end of.
Yeah, what a cliffhanger ending right there. Holy smokes.
Yeah, and I
There's
love
no
that they
way.
brought back the original J. Jonah.
That was awesome. That was awesome.
I know
was-
people that actually screamed in the theater when that happened.
That was, oh, God rest his soul, but that was almost as good as a Stan Lee cameo.
Yeah,
That's probably
yeah.
just as good as
That
a
was a
Stan Lee.
good-
If you can't get Stan Lee for a Spider-Man movie for a cameo, getting J. Jonah Jameson, I mean, come on. That was the best. That was the best. To see him there, just kind of tied it all together, and it was like, oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So I'm really, really happy with this movie.
My hypothesis is Kraven. Kraven's going to be the big baddie for the
Kraven's
final
Wild
one
Hunt.
for hunting Peter Parker. Now that he's been outed as Spider-Man.
Yeah, you could throw some Silver Sable in there. You could throw some Black Cat in there.
You could.
Yeah, that could be pretty good. It'll be really interesting to see how he gets out of it. Right? Because
They did it in the comics a couple times. But,
yeah, but you needed Doctor Strange, and it was a magical spell that made the entire world forget.
Right.
That
and
Peter
Iron
Parker's
Man was
Spider-Man.
also a part of that one too.
Yeah. So
So
I
I
don't know
agree.
how exactly you're gonna do. Oh, speaking of Iron Man though, real quick, favorite scene from the movie was Peter making the new suit.
Yeah.
When he was in the jet with Happy, Happy's like, "You want to make a suit? Oh, we can make a suit." And
I'll
then-
play the music.
And it was. He even had RDJ's mannerisms, like he was flipping the Spider-Man symbol and doing all that. And when he was making the suit, that was perfect. That was a very, very perfect moment. So yeah, go out and see the movie. Anything else?
Interesting thing that my son had me wanted me to tell everyone. It's an interesting quip. Then maybe you might win Jeopardy with it or something. So they made Tom Holland wear a thong when he was in the Spider-Man suit, so that you didn't see lines or anything in the Spider-Man suit. For all of them, every time he was in the suit, he was in a thong.
And that's our time.
Did not need to know
On
that.
that note,
You did need to know that.
I didn't need to know about Tom Holland and thong. Good
What are
night.
you letting your kid watch?
F you,
How does he know
everybody.
that?
What kind of parent are you?